How ready are we for the new travel requirements imposed by the US, UK, and Canada?
Jamaica is now very ready. We have developed the infrastructure to secure the quantities of testing reagents and or to enable the viral testing methods that are approved by WHO, PAHO, and approved also by the CDC and the FDA. So all visitors who come to Jamaica will be able to access whether antigen, PCR, or whatever approved testing arrangements to enable them to fulfill the requirements of their respective countries for re-entry.
Minister, last week you named a special task force to spearhead the initiative to ramp up our testing capacity. What exactly has the task force put in place?
Well, the task force has done a wide range of work, one of which is to assess and determine the capacity to respond to the need for testing of all visitors going back to their country. And I'm pleased to say that that work is completed and we're able to report positively that the labs are all accredited and sourced. And we have also established two redundancy arrangements, one close to the Montego Bay Airport, and that's the convention center in Montego Bay, and the other one is in Port Royal at the cruise ship terminal there. So what we're saying is that the team has worked with all our partners, the hotels, to enable facilities at the hotel for testing at the hotel and or sample gathering at the hotel. Have made arrangements for technology facilitation, so portals are established with labs that enable payments sometimes to be made even ahead of the visitor coming to Jamaica, but that the seamless arrangement is in place to facilitate all the needs that the visitor would have to satisfy the requirements of their countries to return home.
Which hotels are offering testing on-site?
Most of the hotels, especially the larger ones, I don't want to call the names, but my report from JHTA is that all major hotels are providing the facilities.
So what about smaller hotels that don't have on-site testing facilities?
The smaller hotels are being facilitated through these centers that we're establishing in the resort areas. I made reference to that. Besides, the way the labs are distributed across Jamaica enables this. Then there's also transportation arrangements that will allow for movement of visitors from their small hotels, villas, and or apartments into these centers for testing.
So, Minister, what happens to visitors who test positive?
Well, there is a positive care management program that is being structured. The hotels themselves would be the first respondent in that they allow for visitors to stay on property in designated area throughout the period, especially if they are asymptomatic, to fulfill the requirements to enable them to go back home. We are also concluding now arrangements for an end-to-end insurance policy that will enable post-positive care for all visitors, so that by having this coverage, you'll be able to seamlessly get into a care system.
So, Minister, how will these new requirements impact the tourism sector?
Well, the implications of these new requirements are very, very challenging for the industry. The truth is that we already are very hampered by existing protocols, and new ones now only add to that burden. It's moving costs up, it's reducing volumes in, and it is going to have implications in terms of the viability of some of the entities. There's no question about that. However, what it is not affecting is the quality and the high experience levels that the Jamaican product offers, and that we are still the finest destination to come to, and that you can come and fulfill your own passions and expectations. So what we have not allowed these variables to affect is the quality of the experience that you get when you visit Jamaica.
What are your views on the quarantine requirement announced by President Biden?
It's hard to comment on a foreign policy arrangement, especially from where we sit in tourism. However, we think that, you know, countries have to do what they feel are the best for the security and protection of their people. We have to work with it. We have to encourage compliance, while at the same time ensuring that, you know, the ability to come and visit Jamaica is still there. Bearing in mind that the policy is not to prevent you from traveling at all. What it does is to ensure that when you do, you are protected and you protect your country when you get back.
So based on the rollout of vaccines, what are the prospects in your view for tourism within the next year?
Well, vaccine could be the savior. In fact, the world is now preoccupied with getting a sufficient volume to enable a spread across the globe. Certainly for us, the bigger hope is that we, on a local level, will be able to cover our population, but also that our source markets are able to do likewise. And I think we're encouraged by the fact that our largest market, the US, is really being very aggressive about vaccination. And President Biden himself has set a target of, I think, 100,000 people in the first 100 days. So if we do that and do better, then we could see a tourism coming back by September, certainly October, and we could look forward to 21-22 winter season that would be close to what we had, you know, in probably 2017, 2016. And then, you know, tourism is resilient, as you know. It grows faster than any other industry. And so we are likely to see a full bounce back of the industry by 23-24.